Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live from Yavapai College. Yavapai College is one of our sponsors, along with Northern Arizona Healthcare, the Kling Family Foundation, BMO Bank, the City of Sedona, and Golden Sign Gallery, along with our hoteliers, restaurateurs, and also many other sponsors and volunteers. And we just want to thank you for participating in this year's festival. And I'm going to allow my filmmaker to introduce herself and her film.
Thank you. My name is Michelle Carpenter, and I am a professor at the University of Colorado, Denver. My area of expertise is motion design and television broadcast design. My film that is showing at the Sedona International Film Festival is Awadagin Pratt, Black in America. And it's about an African-American pianist. He's very famous. He plays all over the world. He's played for the presidents. And it's about his experience after the death of George Floyd and the post-traumatic stress and his memories of being racially profiled.
Wow. So how did you come up with this particular film?
One of my very favorite colleagues, Mark Rabideau, introduced me to Awadagin Pratt. Awadagin was coming to the University of Colorado, Denver to perform Black in America, which is a spoken word performance wrapped in different pieces of classical music. And he said, "Hey, Michelle, would you like to record this?" And I said, "Yeah, let's see what we get. And if we can make a story, we'll make the story."
Oh, awesome. And I know we have a trailer, so let's take a look at the trailer and we'll talk more.
Perfect.
People speak of hypertension in the African American community as if it's a genetic problem. It's a living Black in America problem. Reflect on your stress level if every time you are driving or out, you could be stopped for no reason or exceptionally small reason and end up dead.
That's an extremely powerful statement. You know, it reminds me, I saw that in the film. And I have two friends who, at the time, we lived in Las Vegas, and they had two young teenagers. And one of the things that she said to me was, when they start driving, they were like extremely fearful because getting stopped by the police, they didn't know, like, if they were like, you know, speeding or whatever it was, right? Or even just a random stop. They were always fearful that something would happen to their teenagers. And I think at that point, that's when it hit me. I'm like, what are you talking about? And, you know, and then they explained, and it really hit home, you know, as far as, you know, I've never had to experience something like that in raising my daughter or anything. And, you know, you just don't think about that. But as far as being Black in America, you have to think about it. So what was your take, you know, in talking with him and his feelings? And I know this was after George Floyd, but what did you garner from this?
So I think the most important thing for me as a filmmaker is to make sure that my people feel comfortable with me and that they know that I'm going to represent them in the best light that I can. And so I wanted him to know that he was safe to tell his story, because you could tell that it was very painful to tell the story. And he just said he kept having these flashbacks of all of these times over. And he is a very famous African-American Black man, but he's got really long dreads. He gets pulled over now because he has a Jaguar, right? And he says it's just transitioned over his life from being pulled over as a young person to an older person. He has a young son, and he talks about the same thing that you just mentioned, having to tell your child to be careful, to not move your hands, to not move in the vehicle, to always be aware, although Awadagin is extremely informed and can cite Supreme Court cases on racial profiling. So he's quite brilliant. I think one of the main facts for me with this story was making sure that people understood how famous Awadagin is, because he's played for the Clinton administration twice. He played for the Obamas on Classical Music Day. And then I wanted it to then go into the story of the racial profiling. So it kind of goes through his career, his rise to fame. It also opens with a section on Blackness, of why does he always have to represent all African Americans? Why can't he just be a concert pianist? Why can't he just be a conductor? He always has to represent his race. And I wanted people to remember that. And so it was really important for me to ground his fame along with blackness and then go into this racial profiling, which I think he makes a really, really eloquent statement on systemic racism. And I'm hoping that people that might not be able to hear it in this piece might actually be able to hear it.
Yeah. And I think what's fascinating too, and forgive me for saying this, and I don't mean it to be a racist comment at all, but I do understand that sometimes, we as white people want to tell a black person's story, and in some instances it's fine, but in other instances, like, they look at us like, how do you really know how to tell our story? So talk to me about that for a second.
So I think for me, as I was coming in to interview Awadagin, a news article came on NPR, and it was about domestic violence. And when I was younger, I had domestic violence in my life. And I had post-traumatic stress, too, where things would happen in my life. And I'm sure you as a woman have experienced things that were very sexist in your career and in media. But for me, I think we kind of talked about post-traumatic stress before the interview even started. And you think, I can never walk in the shoes of an African or a black person or any person of color. I'm a white woman. I do have my women's stories. I do have domestic violence in my past. I definitely have experience with post-traumatic stress. And I think we made a connection on that level that I think he knew he was safe talking to me.
Awesome. Well, it's beautiful. So how could people find out about your film?
So my film is here at Sedona. It is also broadcasting on PBS for Black History Month. It's screening kind of in random places around the country: Los Angeles, San Francisco, Philadelphia, where else? Indianapolis, and other locations around the country. So you can find it there, and you can also go to blackinamerica.life is the name of the website, and that has all of the upcoming screenings and television broadcasts.
Awesome. And then as far as the film festival you have another screening?
I do.
Yes.
So my screening is tomorrow at 4:10, and it's in the Mary Fisher Theater. Super excited about being here. I cannot thank the Sedona International Film Festival for having me. It is such a wonderful experience. It's one of the best festivals in the country. It is recognized. It's recognized by all filmmakers. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. I know Pat Schweiss always tells us it is the Filmmakers Film Festival.
It is. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. It's so nice to meet you. And I look forward to hearing more about the audience participation after your film.
Thank you.
Thanks. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook Live. And also, if you're out doing social media, hashtag us at SIFF23 and Sedona Film Fest 23. We'll be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival after this.